Good morning, my people. Good morning. I just want to put across a very important message. In this country, we are having over 100 billion of imports that we import each and every year. Go look at the statistics of the potatoes. Excuse me. A very good example. It's potatoes. These same potatoes can be produced here in the countries to produce a much needed jobs. But the problem, what we do, our farmers, we keep empowering 80% of farmers who really don't have the passion to produce and don't have the passion to create those jobs. We have our white brothers and sisters that has been doing this thing. Now they've resorted to selling farms because at most of the times they don't have the necessary capital or capacity, and then they feel to say, instead of passing this farm to the next generation where they will produce and then they won't have any market where to sell the produce, it's rather they sell that farm to the government, and when the farm goes to the government, we know all this, what happens with these resettlement farms. They all, most of the time, end up not producing the same to that capacity that they are supposed to produce, or at the end of the day they end up becoming resettlement farms. So now what we are going to do as Action Force Political Party, we are going to make sure that some of the things that we'll be fighting for is giving our white brothers and sisters business or farming grants so that they can be able to produce the equivalent and more of this amount of agricultural products that we get from outside. So we want to empower them, because at the end of the day, it will create the most needed, much needed jobs in this country as we speak. We need jobs, and then we have a government that is just seated with hands folded. Today we are year in, year out going to procure and or to get or to import agricultural products from South Africa, which is not supposed to be like that. So we are going to empower our white farmers so that they also can produce for their own motherland, and we are going to make sure we close that border. So we are importing, and when the products come here, it's very expensive because our demand is high. They don't care. We have to pay that price at the end of the day. Simplest things like cooking oil, we can't produce it here. It had to come from South Africa, where also in South Africa they make sure that they charge us. Simple things like eggs, simple things like potatoes. We can do it. We can close our borders to those things, or we can raise the importing tax ridiculously, so we save our own farmers, so we make sure that we keep our jobs. Today you import those billions of dollars from South Africa, which means now you create jobs there in those plantations. It's what you are creating. You create jobs there in those dairy farms for the South Africans. And here, while your own white farmers can produce all these things and you put it into the market, you actually, you set the quality standard, which I'm very confident enough that they can produce. In exchange, the money will remain here, the jobs will remain here, and the produce will even be cheaper, and we'll even have a surplus which we can sell just by producing everything here. So that is Moro. So that is one of the things that we are also going to make sure that we fight for in this country. We are going to make sure that we will be hands-on with that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.